All right, it is 5 p.m. We will call the April 27, 2021 Fire District 5 Commissioners meeting to order. I have a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilsey.
Yes. All right, we have Commissioner Urbina is absent tonight. Do I have a motion to excuse his absence for this evening?
So moved.
Second.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. Are there any other absences coming up from anybody? All right, seeing the shaking of heads, we'll move on to communications. Are there any?
None this evening.
All right, got a motion to approve the minutes of the April 13th, 2021 Commissioner meeting.
So moved. Second.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. All right, we got some vouchers to approve.
I'll move that we approve the accounts payable vouchers as outlined in the agenda totaling $324,227.15.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. Any reports from local 3390 tonight? Seeing and hearing none, we'll move on to Chief's reports.
Well, thank you. We're going to start off first with Chief Watson.
Hi, good evening. I've got updates on two capital projects that we'll be bringing to you at your next two meetings. The first is we're out for paving bids for the Station 56 project that closes on May 4th. And I will have the bid results to have you for your board action on the first meeting of the month on the 11th. And we are also going out to bid on the generator and automatic transfer switch upgrade for Station 56. That will close on May 20th, and I'll bring that to your second meeting for action at your May 25th. So both those are underway. They won't interfere with each other. Won't be any conflict between the paving and the generator and ATS installation. And I'm open to any questions if you have any for me.
All right, thanks, Chief.
Thanks, Chief. Next, we have Chief Meyer with some updates on promotions.
Yeah, good afternoon. Just a couple things to tell you about. We recently promoted two individuals to Battalion Chief Nick Langlow and to Lieutenant Patrick Phillips. And there's some additions to the Nick Langlow situation coming from Chief Doan here in a little bit. And then also with that promotion process for testing coming up in the fall for a new list starting at the new year. So a lot of activity concerning that with HR and a lot of people starting to study for an upcoming promotional test. So good effort there by all of our people. Also, to our new hires, our entry-level new hires, there's 7 of them. They are in their second week of the academy at Bates Technical College. It sounds like they are doing well. We are still on track to hire 4 lateral firefighters, and those folks will start July 6th. So if you have any questions, that's all I got for you. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. We have Chief Johnson on a COVID report for us.
Good evening, everybody. Always the bearer of good or bad news, however you want to view it for me. So numbers just came out from the county just a little bit ago. So our case rate per 100,000 is up to 256.8. So we are currently in phase 2. To be in phase 3, we need to be under 200. It's probably going to be a lot of people's questions. The greater Gig Harbor area, we have 1,368 cases, and in Pierce County, we have 43,715 cases total from the beginning. Many of those folks are already recovered and moving back to their normal lives. April 16th, a vaccine became available in the state of Washington and to much across the country too, to anyone over 16. So if you're still looking for those, you want to go to Washington Vaccine Finder or just go to the Tacoma Pierce County Health Department webpage, and there's multiple clinics and places offering the vaccine for you now. Department-wide, we have just a few members that are out working through some exposures and some positive cases for themselves. Nothing out of the ordinary that we're seeing moving forward. Also on the COVID front, retired Chief Nixon and volunteer for the department is deployed to the Chelan Douglas County incident management team as a safety officer currently for that vaccination clinic over there. We continue to support the deployments as we can. We get multiple requests coming in every week, but it's not only us trying to fill them, but other departments. This week, Steve is the only one that we have out at this time. Any questions about COVID? All right, so I have two other things. First one is the first full week of April, we brought on a new employee, Melissa Herzog, is now the AA that will be assigned to health and safety. And she's her workspace, once we get through all this and we open the building up, she will be the receptionist out at the front counter once hopefully we get the building open. So she comes to us from the city of Gig Harbor after working there for a few years. Final update is I have been working with the Gig Harbor City Council. They have been working on a change in ordinance for fireworks. The days that you're able to light fireworks off is a better term, I guess. Currently, they follow state law, which is over a 5-day period. After the last 4th of July, there had multiple questions and people wanting to limit that. They did a study and looked at some numbers. They reached out to other cities across the region, had a few meetings, and last night was the second reading of the ordinance change. And in both the first and the second, I offered Gig Harbor Fire's opinion and thought that it was a good idea to limit it to 1 day. Just sheer numbers of calls and injuries that we respond to over those days, and limiting it was a good idea. So last night that passed with a vote of 6-1 at the city council meeting. And that is the end of my report for now. If anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to entertain those. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Well, for my report, first on May 25th commissioners meeting, we have, because of COVID and the local not being able to put on their celebration, we have quite a few people that have retired in 2020 that we haven't been able to honor. And the longer it goes, it just doesn't feel genuine the longer it goes. So what we'd like to do is the May 25th commissioners meeting is have all those that have retired in 2020 come in. We'll break over to one of the rooms here, have them here and their family, and recognize them during the commissioners meeting. So I just wanted to update you on that, if that's all right. Number two, I've been putting on a department-wide class that started yesterday. that we're putting the entire department through. It's just a time to talk about my expectations for the department. We had our first one yesterday in the morning session and an afternoon session, and we're going to continue that through the month until all the employees have gone through it. I didn't think about it till just now, but you are welcome to come if you would like to. We'll send you the agenda, but I'm sure you got a lot better things to do than listen to me for a few hours. Second, I went to LIRA conference, a collective bargaining and arbitration conference with Local 3390 leadership last week for 2 days. We learned a lot. It was a good conference, but also just spending time with them was a great time to hang out with them for a couple of days. We spent some time on the second day talking about 4th Platoon and how to move forward, and we're making great progress there. Third, I told you that we did a 2-day offsite with the leadership team. In that, we came down to one of the things that we wanted to do what's most important right now. How do we know as a leadership team the number one thing we're going to work on? You know, we have a whole bunch of priorities, plural. You don't know what the number one is. And I said, we got to have a priority, one priority. And we came up with this, and that within the next 6 months, we are going to present the capital needs and funding proposal to the fire commissioners. And we have a lot of layers, and we work through what needs to take place to get that done. But I wanted to let you know that our entire department, that's going to be our number one priority for the next 6 months, so that we can get that to you. Within that, we have to do a standard of cover and a risk assessment. We've talked about that. We're still working on our due diligence. We're down to a couple different companies. We had David Blankenship from Western Fire Chiefs. We had Lori Moore from International Public Safety Data Institute, which I sent you that webinar that we did. And we're also looking at Dynamics to do our standard of cover. So we're still doing that due diligence. We're getting pretty close to making a decision. I think we will this week on where we should go for our standard of cover and our risk assessment and our data analysis. Last but not least, when we were on our offsite, one of the things that became apparent is that each chiefs, we need to really work through our roles, our responsibilities, who does what, and get some clarity on our roles and responsibilities. We just finished that up today, and I'll get that out to you. We clarified everybody's roles and responsibilities. After we worked through the roles and responsibilities, we started working on an org chart with your direction from the last meeting to try to come up with an org chart that had 2 deputy chiefs. To tell you the truth, we struggled a little bit with that. And since then, I've called Commissioner Sudich. We had a great conversation, and Commissioner Wilsey, and we talked about that. I'm in complete agreement with Commissioner Sudich. We have the exact same mindset of where we should head, how we should do this. I appreciate him that he wants the same thing for me that I think I should do as a leader. But we couldn't get that done. And I asked Commissioner Sudich and Commissioner Wilsey for just a little bit more time. We're on the same page, but it's a little bit early, and they agreed to allow me a little bit more time to change our organizational structure. But with that, even though we did that, we did a really good job of getting our roles and responsibilities. I may have failed on getting the 2 deputy chief org chart. One thing that we did do as a team is that we've come up with with your permission, and I plan to promote Nick Langlow to assistant chief. And we've also come up with a little bit of an organization shift that Chief Johnson will be moving to logistics, that Chief Bergstrom will be doing health, safety, and emergency preparation. Chief Meyer will stay in operations, and Chief Langlow will be doing the assistant chief of finance and administration. I still need to get the agreement finalized and then bring it to you at the next commissioners meeting. to approve. So I know that is a big change within our department. And I'll just pause there for a minute, see if you have any feedback, concerns, questions. There's a lot of change happening here, and sometimes change is difficult, especially at the speed we're working at. So I always want to pause and slow down and make sure I'm keeping you up to date and getting any feedback from you on this, especially this big of a change.
I'm good.
Crickets, yeah, sounds like everybody's good with that, Chief.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just, does Nick know where he's going yet? I mean, which way? His head's got to be swirling, man. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, I think all of you know that Nick is a superstar, and we're excited to have him part of the team and bringing him up here. Yeah, he's a little overwhelmed, but heck, aren't we all a little bit? I know I am. So I'll be here with him, and so will Dan. Dan's obviously not going anywhere, and we're going to do this as a team. Nick's not going to be alone by himself, and he's got a great team backing him up. That entire administration team does a really good job, and so we're excited. We're excited to bring him on board, and that will open another battalion chief position, obviously. So I'll be doing interviews in the next week to promote the next battalion chief, and then a lieutenant behind him. So we're excited to have him on board, and I think and hope he's excited too. That concludes my update, Commissioner, unless you have any questions for me.
Nope, that's great. Yeah, congratulations to Nick, and thank you for everybody else stepping up and making the moves around, and being flexible and getting to where you might want to be. Sounds like there's some change, which is great. So thank you. Standing committee reports. I see Chief Bierstrom kind of lit up there. You got something to bring forward there?
I'm sorry, I thought we were headed off to new business next. So
Alex, just briefly on standing committee reports, we had a fleet and facilities, or a capital facilities meeting about Station 51 that Chief Watson led yesterday afternoon for a couple hours. We're getting really close to having 51 locked down in terms of the plan. Then we're on to the training center, and then once we get that done, then all the capital facility stuff will be ready to go.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other standing committee reports you need to come tonight? All right, seeing none, I think we've already explained the organizational chart under old business. Do we have any other old business? All right, seeing none, we'll go to new business.
here I am.
Here you are.
It's going to be Chief Doan's presentation is going to be a tough one to follow about contracts for fire service, but I'm gonna give it a swing. What is coming before the board tonight is our contract to provide fire protection services to Pierce County. This is one of those odd contracts that you'll notice it's dated for the 1st of January of this year. But because of the way this contract is computed, they have to get all of our call data from the prior year to figure out what this year's bill will be. So this is the fee that they pay us to cover the Tacoma's Narrows Airport, the Purdy Shops, the Peninsula Precinct, and last year we got the Purdy Transfer Station added. It's the same contract that we see every year from them. There's a $187 decrease, which seems odd when you look at property values, but this is computed based on a combination of calls that we run to the facility and the value of the improvements only and not the land. So it's the same contract we've signed in years past, and would recommend that we re-sign this year.
Alex, can I just
All right.
update Chief Doan on one thing on this? This will be your first experience with this, Chief. This is the one vote every year that I abstain on because my employer is Pierce County and one of my coworkers in the civil division would have reviewed this contract. So I always abstain on this, not because there's anything unusual or anything with the contract. It's just because I figure it's appropriate.
All right, any other questions or concerns over the contract? All right, you do need a motion to pass this tonight, correct, Dan?
Yes, sir.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the contract for fire protection service with Pierce County?
So moved. Second.
All right, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Incy,
Yes.
Commissioner Sudich,
Yes.
I'll call Commissioner Nelson,
Abstain.
and Chairman Wilsey.
Yes. All right. To open public comment, we have anybody looking to come forward and make some statements tonight? State your name for the record. You have 3 minutes. Do we have anybody out there wishing to address the board? All right, hearing none and seeing none move forward. Any good of the order tonight? Hearing none, special interest, upcoming events.
Alex, JJ can probably
Seeing
chime in
and
on
hearing
this.
none.
Alex, I was going to say JJ can probably chime in on this with more info, but for upcoming special interest upcoming events, not necessarily related to the district, this may be more good of the order. There's a mass vaccination event at the T-Dome over the next week. So if anybody out there is watching and hasn't gotten vaccinated yet, it's your opportunity to go get your shot.
No, and I think even today, the Emerald Queen mass vaccination site had a lot of extras that they were looking to get into people's arms. So get out there and get it.
Yeah, lots of opportunity out there and available. Check the Tacoma Pierce County Health website, and they're also starting to list those on the Washington Health Finder or the Washington Vaccine Finder website also. So yeah, lots of opportunity.
All right, with nothing else, this meeting is adjourned. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Take care, you guys.